So you want to know the absolute worst things about living in Queen Anne, Seattle? Well, in this video, we're going to talk about exactly that. We're going to talk about seven of the nitty-gritty nasty things about living in Seattle's iconic Queen Anne neighborhood. What's going on, everybody? It's H Gazabat, and this is Living and Moving to Seattle, Washington. This is a channel that gives you all the nitty-gritty details so that you know exactly what it's like to live, work, eat, sleep, play right here in Seattle, Washington, the Emerald City. I'm a local real estate broker. I help people make moves all the time, and I want to get you the boots on the ground information. So reach out to me, give me a text if you're thinking about making a move. All the details are down below. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Let's get into it. So I've got 7. We're gonna do this top 10 style, David Letterman from back in the day. Start at the worst, the not so worst, and get into the worst of the worst. So when I think about Queen Anne, the first thing I think of as a local Seattleite is the hill, right? So the top of the hill, it is the highest hill. It's iconic, some of the most sweeping views, beautiful views. We did a video where we went to Queen Anne High School and we got the views going across, amazing views. We've been to Cary Park, showed you the views from Cary Park. You can get all over Queen Anne. It is an iconic neighborhood full of beautiful architecture, very, very, small town feel, tree-lined streets, everything that you see that you want out of it, like Americana town, all the stuff, right? But here's the deal. Parking is atrocious, especially in the summer months. But if you do not have off-street parking in your apartment or your condo or your house, you're gonna be fighting in the streets to get decent parking, especially when you make your way up into the business district there. You're going to either want to pay for parking so that you can get a decent spot, or hopefully be able to find street parking, but it gets tighter and tighter. I'm one of those people that I like to leave 10-15 minutes before I need to get there, just so that I can circle the block and try to find street parking. I'd rather not pay for parking. I do if I have to, but honestly, between Seattle traffic and parking, leaving early is on time. We used to joke that, if you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes late. That was kind of the general rule. You're 5 minutes early, you're really 10 minutes late because you got to go around and find parking. If you're 15 minutes early, you're on time. And if you're late, you're left behind. So that's how that kind of teases out. If you ever heard that, you worked for a company that did that, or were in a fraternity or something like this that held those rules, that really is the same here. So realistically, people that live there, they're parking in the streets, they kind of have their spots, and they take up a lot of the space. So when you're in and around, you're trying to get in and out, and it's complicated. So just give yourself, a little grace, mercy, and forgiveness, but give yourself 10 minutes, 10 more minutes than you need to find parking. Number 6 on the list. I just talked about the hill. It is brutal. Now, if you are the kind of person that is going to walk to the bus or use your bike to commute up and down the hill, good on you. It is a lot of free fitness. On the Queen Anne Avenue, where all the shops and restaurants, kind of that's nice and flat. That's a good flat spot on top of the hill. Other than that, it's a hill in every direction, up and down, sideways. It is hilly. If you drive a clutch, it is hilly, like all these things. It is pretty gnarly. We were driving around the other day, and I was even my car's an automatic, and it's still, I actually kind of wish I was driving a clutch with an e-brake that I could lock and get and negotiate, because the hill is so steep. There's a lot of folks that live there that are, on their bicycles, commuting, doing the hill climbs, getting that extra fitness in. And if that's your thing, good on you. Get out there and go do it. But just know, if you're living to that area and you're planning on commuting to downtown or Lower Queen Anne or whatever by bicycle, it's going to be real easy to get down the hill, right? You just coast. But coming back home, it's going to be a real bear. Number 5 on the list is tourist traffic. Now, all those things kind of combine in the summer when it's beautiful blue sky days, and we've got the cruise ships coming in. People want to get out there on their own accord and go up to see the iconic views from Cary Park, or do the walking tour around the historic district, and all on their own, and get up to Queen Anne to look around. So then you've got Ubers and taxis and people driving. and just people are crowded all throughout the streets. And if you're living in the area, you're trying to get to soccer practice, you're trying to go do something, it can get really, really congested on those hills. And the other thing that I think about too is driving around at those angles on those hills. Sometimes it's hard to see around corners, and it just, with the amount of bodies in the area, it can get really complicated really fast. Number 4 on the list, speaking of hills, winter. And I spent a lot of time inserting things about the weather. People have their opinion about the weather. Today, it's, I don't know, 70 degrees outside. It's high clouds. There's still clouds in the sky. I can see a blue pocket over there. This would be, you know, it's cloudy, but it's nice. Typically February, right around President's Day, Valentine's Day, somewhere right around there, is when we get our worst of the worst weather. Ice storms, snowstorms, comes down like concrete. It is thick and nasty, sheets of ice, and you do not want to be traveling to or from or around Queen Anne. Queen Anne is one of those things that you can Google. I think in past videos when I've talked about the weather, I've shown videos of people like just losing traction, and one car will nail 10 cars, and those cars will break loose from their parking spot, and they will all just float down the ice into whatever flat street they can slow down at. It is absolutely awful. You know, if you're brave enough to try to negotiate that traffic, you are taking an extreme, or excuse me, that weather, you're taking an extreme risk of maybe hurting yourself or hurting other people's property, or worse. So just know when those big storms come, especially if you're out of town, there's no reason. You can call in, it's fine. Happens like once a year, just plan for it, know ahead of time. Right around President's Day is when you should expect to get it. Sometimes on Christmas, but usually President's Day. Number 3 on the list, I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about restaurant prices. I joked in another video about how the Taco Bell up on Queen Anne is 3 times more expensive than the Taco Bell over in Ballard. I don't eat Taco Bell. I wouldn't even know what to order. That's just what I heard on NPR because I listen to boring radio. They reported that, but I have gone out to different restaurants up there and it is pretty pricey, and I've heard from friends and family that go up there that have eaten there that you do pay a little bit of a premium. And that's because those restaurants, you know, they're wonderful. They serve that neighborhood well. It is a very well established, iconic, I don't know, posh neighborhood. It's iconic. It's Queen Anne, right? So you look at some of those houses, it's easy to spend a few $1 million on a house. That's what those houses cost. We went over prices in another video, so you can see the wide range of $1.5 million to $7 million up there. So you can easily go into lower Queen Anne. Still, you're getting closer to downtown, so those prices for drinks and food, you know, continue to climb. It takes quite a bit to get out of town to get something that's a little less expensive, but lower Queen Anne does have the fancy sit-down Dick's Drive-In restaurant that's reasonable for a local chain. But there's other stuff too. Just know that when you're going out, it's obviously a restaurant. I always joke with folks about my grandparents. You know, they didn't eat out at restaurants all the time. It frankly was a truly an exorbitant experience to be able to go out to a restaurant, right? And I think that's lost on us because of the convenience and how many restaurants are out there. So it is quite a special experience to do that. And you should go out, you should enjoy those places that are close to home. Number 2 on the list. Now, there's Queen Anne proper with all the beautiful Victorians, Craftsmans, Four Squares, Dutch colonials, stark modern homes. There's all these beautiful, you know, large family homes in Queen Anne. That's what that neighborhood's kind of known for. There's wonderful buildings, condo buildings like Queen Anne High School and some other condo buildings there, great buildings. But that's at the very top of the hill. And then you know, lower Queen Anne on the map, it's going to say Uptown. We're all going to call it lower Queen Anne. That is going to be a lot more of the older apartment buildings and some condos and even some townhouses in the mix there. Now, what I was going to say is that normal Queen Anne here, you know, everybody wants to know about crime rates. Everybody wants to know about what that looks like. Now, lower Queen Anne has much more reported things going on than Queen Anne proper. I always wonder, you know, try to look at the data. Is it violent crime data or is it package theft? And it's just more prominent because everybody's got Rings now and everybody gets packages delivered to their doorstep, where even just 10 years ago, that wasn't very normal. Less and less packages coming to the doorstep, less and less cameras out there looking at people. So is it more crime because there's more opportunity with packages on the doorstep and we're seeing it more? Or is it always been the same and we just didn't know? Maybe we had a PO box or something else, or we weren't getting as many packages in the mail. So that's something I was thinking about. But Lower Queen Anne, down there, just down the hill a little bit closer to downtown, always gets a bit more reporting in crime than Queen Anne proper. But it's something to know about if you're addicted to Amazon and that's your thing and you get a lot of packages delivered. Just know that there is a lot of reporting, and take a look at that and see how comfortable you are with that. Now, number one on the list is the one thing that I feel it's super worth talking about. But if you're thinking about Queen Anne, you know, let your buying power guide you, right? For apartments, for condos, for buying a home. There's a reason that Queen Anne comes with a price tag. It's so close to downtown, it's close to the jobs, it's close to everything that you want right there, with good access to parks, good access to beautiful, stunning views, easy access, like I said, to downtown and jobs. I mean, it really just has so much going for it, and that does come with a price tag. It is the iconic Queen Anne neighborhood, and some people might see that as a huge cost, huge con, very detrimental. They want to live in Queen Anne, but they can't afford it, right? That is always the case. Guess what? It's a West Coast city. It's Seattle. These are the things that we look at all the time with folks, and letting that price guide you through how you can get the most bang for your buck. In another video, we talked about how condos, 2-bedroom condo prices can be really affordable, put you right in the mix of things. And then we went over other single family homes in what really appears to be a reasonable price range given the median price point of homes here in Seattle. It's not like you have to spend $7 million to get a home. You can, there are those available, $5 million, $3 million, $7 million. All those home types are in Queen Anne, but we also see $850,000, $950,000, $1 million too, where you can get in and have a really, really nice environment in a well-kept home there in Queen Anne. But some people see that as a huge negative because it's out of reach for them. So just know what those prices are going in, do your homework, take a look. If you're thinking about making a move in the next little while, reach out, we can brainstorm. I've done it with a bunch of folks. Just get some ideas going on what neighborhood makes the most sense for you and your lifestyle and your budget. Happy to do that anytime. All the info's down below. We really do have your back when you're thinking about making a move. Can't wait to hear from you, and we'll see you in the next video. Talk to you.